Peatlands form a big part of our Scottish landscape. A fifth, in fact. They filter most of the water we drink, provide habitats for our wildlife, and draw in carbon from the environment, more even than our forests do. But experts say 80% of the peatlands in Scotland are damaged. Years of using peat as fuel, compost and for grazing have eroded the landscape.
Peat's then building up at 1 millimetre a year because...
Sue White is working to restore peatlands in Shetland.
All the hills are covered in peat, it's blanket bog, it's a really important habitat, and an awful lot of it is degraded, like the stuff behind me. It's broken and hacked, there are gullies. At the moment, this kind of habitat is losing somewhere around 23.8 tonnes of CO2 equivalent per hectare per year. And you know, we've got 40,000 hectares of degraded peatland in Shetland. That is a huge amount of CO2 that's just coming off of our peatlands. And we can turn it around very simply.
This is a peat hag, which basically means part of the peatland has been exposed. Now naturally it should be covered in vegetation which would be protecting the peat, but because it's exposed, it's emitting carbon.
Near Balmoral in the Cairngorms, diggers are being used to smooth and recover the peat that's been damaged.
We're doing about 570 hectares this year. So that's maybe the equivalent of 900 football pitches. We've got something like 90,000 hectares potentially to restore in the national park. We're using large machines to reprofile the peat surfaces and turf them with whole turf, or laying out a sphagnum-rich mulch on the bare peat to sort of cover the peat and allow plants to grow back.
It's one of many projects benefiting from the £250 million fund to restore Scotland's peatlands over the next decade. The Scottish Government hopes the money will restore more than 200,000 hectares. But some say more peatland specialists will be needed to meet this target.
The biggest challenge for us is there's not enough experienced contractors that can carry out the peatland restoration work. With this year, we've got a new entrance scheme for new peatland contractors that we're trialling, and that's to try and bring on new people that can come into the field and help us do the restoration work.
Going forward, there's going to have to be private investment, but having said that, private investors are very interested because of the carbon benefits. You can sell that carbon, basically, that we're going to start locking into the peatland.
It's hoped projects like these in the Cairngorms will help restore our peatlands to their natural state, not only helping our landscape and wildlife, but crucially for our climate, drawing more carbon out of the atmosphere. Hayley Bomma, STV News.